Welcome to the final of 3 videos that walk through a mock paper for the AQA Germany Democracy and Dictatorship Unit. In this video, we will focus on the 12-mark bullet point question, which is an evaluation-style question, albeit a shorter one than those found on your other 3 papers for the AQA History GCSE. The 6th question in the German paper is worth 12 marks. It asks you to consider 2 bullet points as 2 contrasting alternatives, and then consider which was the most important reason why an event took place. Sometimes the 2 bullet points are both sides of the same coin. For example, if the reason was to ask which was the more important reason why the Nazis came to power, the appeal of Hitler, or the weaknesses of the Weimar Republic. In this case, they are direct opposites to each other. However, for the question I have chosen here, you are expected to discuss 2 key factors and explain which was the most important reason why Germany suffered following the Treaty of Versailles of 1919. The word "following" is important. You are essentially being asked to discuss the consequences of the treaty, and so you will need to link later events to specific terms of Versailles. It's important that you remained focused on the 2 factors mentioned. Discussion of the guilt clause is not relevant to this question. The territorial losses, however, could be relevant if you link them to economic damage. Now spend a minute identifying key economic terms of the Treaty of Versailles and linking these to later events. It is very important to remember the reparation bill of £6.6 million. This was the root cause of most of Germany's economic problems for the next decade, and so links to many different themes and topics. Furthermore, it is worth knowing one territorial loss that did economic damage, such as the Saar, which was a coalfield region. The loss of resources made it harder for the German economy to recover, and in turn to pay the reparation fee. Furthermore, the sudden economic decline resulted in the closure of factories. To link this to military problems, you could explain how many factories were creating weapons during World War I. For this paragraph, I have written the economic problems were the most serious issue because they placed Germany into a debt trap. Germany had to pay £6.6 billion in reparations to the Allied powers. Furthermore, Germany lost important resources when they lost territories, such as the coalfield region of the Saar. This made it very hard for Germany to recover their economy and were forced to close factories, especially those that had been used to create munitions during the war. This in turn caused civil unrest due to mass redundancies and a rise in crime rates. Due to the desperate economic times, there was also a rise in extremist groups such as the paramilitary Freikorps. In this paragraph, I have clearly signposted the economic problems and how this caused a decline in the economy. However, I have also linked this to military problems since there was a sudden rise in unemployment, which caused many young men to join extremist paramilitary groups. If the economy had been healthy, these young men would have found employment and lived a good quality of life, so would not have joined militant groups. Now spend a minute identifying key military terms of the Treaty of Versailles and linking these to later events. The most important military term is the reduction of the army to 100,000 men. This is because Germany took a high level of pride in their army and so found this humiliating. The navy was reduced to next to nothing: 6 battleships and no submarines. A crushing defeat following Germany's naval race with Britain. However, another important military term is the demilitarization of the Rhineland. This is often confused as a territorial term, since it relates to an area of land that borders France and Belgium. However, it still belonged to Germany. It was just that Germany could not station any troops there. This links to an important event in 1923, the invasion of the Ruhr, when French and Belgian troops marched through the Rhineland to confiscate coal, since Germany had failed to pay the first installment of the reparation bill. For this paragraph, I have written the following. The military problems worsened the situation in Germany, because now the government could not defend against both internal and external threats. The German army was reduced to 100,000 men, and the navy reduced to 6 battleships and no submarines. Furthermore, the Rhineland region that bordered France and Belgium was demilitarized. As a result, when Germany failed to pay the first reparation bill, the French and Belgium marched through the Rhineland and took control of the coalfield region of the Ruhr. Since Germany could not militarily resist, President Ebert called for a general strike and printed money to pay the workers. Whilst this prevented the Allies from seizing coal, it worsened the economic problems by causing hyperinflation. As a result, ordinary people had to use wheelbarrows of money to pay for even a loaf of bread. This answer begins by discussing the military problems, but in a reverse to the previous paragraph, it then links this to the economic problems. The invasion of the Ruhr is the easiest event to discuss in order to link military and economic problems. I have taken this even further by explaining the social impact of these problems, by discussing hyperinflation and the struggles of ordinary people to handle this. If you have fully explained both the economic and military problems brought about by the Treaty of Versailles, you next need to show judgment through a conclusion. However, this conclusion will not be worth any marks unless you have fully explored both bullet points. If you are running out of time on this final question, focus on fully showing an understanding of the 2 bullet points. I have written, in conclusion, the economic problems were more serious, as they caused both internal military problems in the form of paramilitary groups and civil unrest, and external military problems in the form of the invasion of the Ruhr. This was made worse by the depleted military, which left Germany vulnerable to attack from their vengeful enemy of France. This answer summarizes previous discussions and shows a definitive judgment by showing how underlying economic problems made the military problems even worse. Thank you for watching. I hope this walkthrough has been useful. Please look out for future walkthroughs for the AQA papers on medicine, Normans and the interwar years.